Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jeffrey. And fear. Why fear? Fear is something that we all experience. We all know what this is. And not only do we humans know what this is, beings know what fear is. Animals and fear. Hmm, right? Because it's been governing our existence for a long, long, long time, and yet here in 2019, it's still something that is governing our existence. In acting class, it was the spectrum fear and love. Love and fear are the two opposite ends of a spectrum for emotion, and so fear is very powerful. It is the driving force for lots of things that have happened in the past, which are very hard to talk about, right? Slavery, the Holocaust, war, famine, um, and also things that are not human related, like, you know, natural disasters and storms and all this stuff. And so to bring an awareness about fear is to bring an awareness about things that are very hard to talk about. But to bring it up is to also say, wait a minute, why? Because we're an evolved species, we have an array of emotions that we get to experience. And so to live a life solely, to live a life based on fear is something that should be questioned, and it should be questioned as to why we're living in this fear, why we're allowing love, not love, but fear, why we're allowing fear to be the dominant player in our experience. Because we look around, and most of the world has subscribed to a story in their life that is attached to fear. So, my childhood, right? Or my parents, or this happened to me, and this is why I'm this way. Rarely do we have the story where someone says, oh, I experienced love. That's why I live a life based off of love, or that kind of story. Especially here in the tri-state area, lots of people will tell you, we're bitter, we're mad, what they're saying is we're fearful. And we have allowed ourselves to have this be the way in which we live our lives. This is the norm for us. To bring up fear is to bring attention to the present moment. To bring up fear is to bring attention to all those things that we don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about how we can still be racist. Even as a person of color, people of color don't want to admit that they are racist sometimes, and vice versa. To bring up fear is to bring up the fact that we are afraid of the future because we are also afraid of the past. And to bring up fear is to bring up the fact that we actually have, that we actually are creating the fear. That's hard to almost take in, the fact that we're creating fear, because fear wants you to blame something. Fear wants you to put the responsibility on someone else. And that's exactly what we do in society. Is when we are you know, when we're afraid of something, they did it, he did it, she did it. But all that was done was that feelings were felt, and those feelings were uncomfortable, and those feelings either made you stop growing or it made you continue from. So what I'm getting to is how fear can actually be used to experience the opposite of fear, which is love. And the way you do that is by seeing it, because fear wants to be seen. Fear wants to be heard. It doesn't want to stay in the dark any longer, and the longer that it stays there, the more it grows. So what I'm getting at is that it's not about not feeling fear. It's not about eradicating fear, because that's like saying, oh, I want to get rid of my heart, or I want to get rid of my, you know, it's about not making it the dominant player in your existence, and choosing which one you want to be dominating your existence. So what, fear or love? And if you have a choice, which one would you choose? And it's also about, it's not that you won't ever experience fear. It's more about building a certain feng shui inside of your body where the energy gets to flow, where when fear starts to move in a certain direction, there's actually an escape route where it can escape and actually be seen, and make space for bigger, better emotions like love. And the minute we make love the dominating player of our life, fear cannot vibrate, because love is taking up all the space, and there is no space for fear to be there. And that's what this video is about. It's about bringing awareness so that we can have a choice as to whether or not we want to experience a fear-based experience or a love-based experience. And obviously it comes from within, right? Like, to have a love-based experience means you have to love your experience, and your experience is being funneled through this body, and this body is what needs to be loved first and foremost in its totality, 100%. So the minute we start to love our body, we start to change the experience. And loving our body is not this Disney fantasy of what love is. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna magically start loving myself and flowers will start to fall down from the sky. Although that's cool too, if you can do that. Like, if if because I'm not trying to put a limitation to it. What I'm trying to bring to is a certain sense of tangibility to love, that love is tangible, and that love can be experienced in the here and the now, that it doesn't need to be this fantasy, Disney-like, esoteric idea of it. Although it can be if that's what is tangible for you. But having a fear-based experience, where it's so easy for us to accept that. So what I'm getting to is, the minute you start to fill in your cup with love, fear has no space in there. And to make it even better, right? We are the co-creators of our reality. If fear has no space and there's only love, then that means your electromagnetic field is love. So anything that comes into your electromagnetic field is being influenced by you. So if someone that's fearful comes into your electromagnetic field, if your love is more taking up more space, then you're going to influence that fear to go back to love. Vice versa, if that fear is more bigger than your love and you allow it permission to change you, then that fear will tell your love to go to fear. But it is in this conscious decision to emit a frequency of love. What is the choice that we are deciding to emit? What is the frequency that we are deciding to vibe at? And this will begin to change how we see life, because not only have we changed how we feel about ourselves, but everything around us is being influenced by our frequency. Are we courageous enough as a society, as a human species, to be a human species that is a predominantly love emitting frequency? And are we courageous enough to have so much love that fear does not vibrate in the body? And are we courageous enough that if we face fear face to face, that we are so overflowed that we can influence it? And also too, that if we are living a life based out of love, that our reality starts to become that. Are we courageous enough to allow that? That if the minute we decide this, certain people cannot be in your reality anymore. Certain people are no longer going to be in your life. And also certain people will be influenced by you and be changed and actually come with you along for the ride. But also too, certain people will be attracted to you because you'll be attracting and creating your reality. And really, it all comes down to a choice. And to have that choice, we must become aware first. We are aware, and when we are aware that we have a choice. And then when we have a choice, we choose. So, what do you choose? Much, much love to you viewers out there. Much, much love. I will be seeing you in the next one. Hope you have a great week, and you know what what you're going to choose. You know. See you in the next one. Peace out.